A book to accompany the series is available, published by Pan Macmillan and priced at £4.99.
Howdy.
Big movie action adventure for Saturday nights on ITV soon. Mickey Rourke, Christopher Walken, a battle for survival in
Homeboy.
I don't know what you get for killing a man.
Richard Gere and Kim Basinger showing
No Mercy.
And next Saturday at 9:30,
We're gonna have a lot of fun now.
Kiefer Sutherland, Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen blasting off a season of adventure movies next Saturday.
Young Guns.
Movies are free on ITV.
At BP, our emphasis on research and testing tends to leave an impression on most visitors.
4th floor aviation fuel research. Sixth floor marine lubricants testing. Seventh floor motorsport fuel testing.
And everything we learn from this research, we put to use in a very practical place. Your local BP station.
Pizza for Ted King?
Top floor.
Top floor space research.
BP, on the move.
We discovered Ivel-shaped Twinpot, a delicious combination of succulent strawberry and temptingly tasty yoghurt. Or, to put it another way, temptingly tasty yoghurt and succulent strawberry. Either way, it's still less than half the fat of most other Twinpots.
Ivel-shaped Twinpot, doubly delicious.
Oh, Tony, a Tango taste sensation, perhaps?
Yes, Ralph. He's had a drink.
Aye, Tony, just as I thought. There's some cheeky shenanigans going on here.
The lad's a Frenchman. Anything could happen.
Whoa! He's enveloped by the big wet bunch of oranges and Tango.
Yes, Ralph. Little opponent's nipped in here, and unleashed his big orange hand.
Superb!
I'm lost for words, Ralph. Absolutely terrific. Smashing.
You know where you've been tangoed.
Is it surprising that Denmark has the highest divorce rate in Europe?
I was given 10 seconds to say something really interesting. And all I could think of was Swinton Insurance.
Kellogg's Golden Crisp. Sweet oaty flakes, plump raisins with smooth slivers of almond. Altogether a rich, sumptuous taste. A little indulgence to be savoured in peace and quiet, without interruptions. Make a silence really golden with Kellogg's Golden Crisp.
Faily Express.
France for £1.
£1.
This summer, cruise P&O European ferries to France for just £1 with the Daily Express. We're expecting plenty of summer reservations.
Tonight at 11:20 on ITV, Celebration presents a show packed with stars, all brought to life on paper by the unique comedy talent of Ennio Marchetto. Celebration unwraps a true original, The Paper Marilyn, tonight at 11:20 on ITV.
Don't miss the fantastic opportunity to win the holiday of a lifetime on GMTV next week. We'll fly you over to New York on Concorde first class, put you up in the Waldorf Astoria, give you £500 spending money, and then bring you home in style on the Regal QE2. For the dream of a lifetime, watch GMTV.
You're watching London Weekend Television.
Good evening, this is the news from ITN. Tonight's headlines. London bomb clear-up. The city says it's business as usual tomorrow. President Yeltsin heads for victory in the Russian referendum. And Lord Owen's final peace effort in Bosnia as sanction deadline nears. The Prime Minister tonight praised the people of London for their determination and defiance in the face of yesterday's huge bomb attack. The city vowed to operate as normally as possible after the blast that killed a photographer and wrecked buildings. The IRA today said they did it. 2 more bombs late last night missed their targets, Downing Street and Scotland Yard, after the drivers of hijacked minicabs fled their cars.
As the clear-up continued in the City of London today, the Queen expressed her deep shock at the damage and injury caused by this latest IRA outrage. She also sent a message of sympathy to the family of the photographer Edward Henty, killed covering the story. Today was his 12th wedding anniversary. The police are now studying these exclusive ITN pictures of the lorry in which the explosives were packed. They're also questioning the ITN cameraman who took this footage as the bomb went off.
Thanks a lot, boys.
This was the scene at the very centre of the blast today. A huge crater has been torn into the road, the gas and water mains broken like matchsticks. Questions too today, though, about the state of repair of the government's security policy against the IRA.
They've shown yesterday a total contempt for public opinion, but also a total contempt for the authorities, not just blowing apart the City of London for the second time in a matter of months, but also trying to have further incidents involving Downing Street.
That attempt came when 2 minicab drivers were hijacked at gunpoint last night by men with Irish accents and bombs placed in their cars. This one went off outside a hotel that had just been evacuated. The terrorists had told him to drive it to New Scotland Yard, but like the cabbie in the second incident who'd been told to drive to Downing Street, he alerted the police instead. And tonight, in a show of defiance, congregations barred from their usual city churches by the IRA bomb held makeshift services. Ancient St Ethelburgers is now this pile of rubble, but the worshippers have vowed to return. David Chater, ITN, in the City of London.
The clean-up operation in the city will continue into the night in a determined effort by the finance world to open for business tomorrow morning. The Chancellor, Norman Lamont, was confident the city would quickly shrug off the effects of the outrage, but not everyone was so optimistic.
The city on show tonight as finance ministers gathered for dinner at the European Bank of Reconstruction and Development. The message: bombs will not damage the city's reputation.
Life will go on in the city as normal. I've discussed it with lots of international bankers who come to this meeting, and they recognise that we're going to carry on as normal.
This morning, city managers and workmen rubbed shoulders at London's Guildhall, trying to get access to devastated offices or find emergency accommodation. But despite the all-day efforts of an army of labourers, scenes like this mean business as usual tomorrow will be a very tall order.
My estimate is at least 150,000 people will be without a desk to go to tomorrow. The last bomb in St Mary Axe took out over 1 million square feet of offices. I believe this bomb has done significantly more damage.
The 1,200 staff who normally work in the NatWest Tower will either stay at home or work elsewhere tomorrow. The bank says the full range of its services will be available.
The city as a whole will need in time to discuss with the appropriate authorities how we make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Do you think, though, that access to the city should be restricted at all?
Well, I think that's one of the things that the city as a whole will need to discuss with the authorities.
Managers at this French bank were not allowed to see what remained of their offices today. Their currency dealing operations will be out of action tomorrow, but they're still committed to London.
We are all pretty shocked by what happened. We are certainly very much painful about the loss of life. But as far as business is concerned, you know, business will be continuing as usual.
Tonight, another displaced foreign bank was setting up in this emergency dealing room. But temporary measures alone won't protect the money markets from the terrorists. Greg Wood, ITN, in the city.
The widow of a former soldier killed by a booby-trap bomb in County Tyrone today has pleaded for no retaliation. She said no one should have to go through the heartbreak she was enduring. David Martin, a father of 3, was blown up as he drove along a country road.
The former soldier was driving away from a friend's house when the booby-trap bomb exploded. The car careered off the road and burst into flames. Police say David Martin's badly burned body was found lying beside the wreckage. The force of the blast had thrown him out. The security forces sealed off the area about 6 miles from Cookstown in County Tyrone. Mr. Martin was a former member of the Ulster Defence Regiment, enough to make him a target for the IRA. He was aged 33 and the father of 3 children, the latest victim of what is known as the undercar booby-trap bomb. The IRA favours this device not only because it is lethal and hard to detect, but it uses a minimum of explosives. The Army searched the area for any other devices. It could have taken only about a pound of Semtex explosives to make the IRA bomb which killed Mr. Martin. He died instantly, the 27th fatal victim of Ulster's troubles this year. Andrew Simmons, ITN, Cookstown, County Tyrone.
Russia's President Yeltsin appears to be heading for a clear victory in today's referendum on who should rule the country. Exit polls suggest widespread support for both his economic and constitutional reforms. It gives Mr. Yeltsin the upper hand in his battle with Congress.
The talking is over. The Russian people have had their say, and they've turned out in large numbers to give their verdict on President Yeltsin and his reform program. That has delighted the president. As he voted this morning, his great fear was that apathy and a low turnout would rob him of a decisive victory in his battle with the conservative hardliners. He was in buoyant mood, joking with reporters that maybe his wife didn't trust him, and was even at that moment voting no. Across town, his main opponent, the chairman of parliament, Ruslan Hasbulatov, was also smiling for the cameras, but must have been wondering through the day if Yeltsin has finally outmaneuvered him. Other hardliners, like Anatoly Lukyanov, on trial for organizing the attempted coup, voted very publicly against Yeltsin, but it seems the people were not with them. Every effort's been made to let ordinary Russians have their say. Stalls sold cakes and pastries outside polling stations to entice people onto the streets. Soldiers serving both in Russia and abroad were specially transported from their barracks to the voting booths. Convicts in Moscow's central prison were all entitled to a ballot, as were patients bedridden in the city's hospitals. Our straw poll found, among a very small sample, an overwhelming majority voting yes to Yeltsin.
If the official result